Today we're going to talk about a controversial ingredient in skincare and that I think everybody probably has either heard of and may even own at their house, and whether or not we should be putting this on our skin. So today we're going to talk about Vaseline. I get this question all the time, if it's really safe to put on your skin, if we should be putting something that is petroleum related on our skin, on our largest organ. Is that something we should actually be doing? So let's dive in a little bit to the backstory, where it came from, and what I think about its safety profile. So first of all, to get a little bit of history, which is actually really interesting, you guys, petroleum jelly, white petrolatum, let's say, Vaseline, actually started in the oil rigs in Pennsylvania. And basically what happened was the workers there were using something called rod wax on their wounds to help heal their skin and for general like skin care. And a chemist took note of this, saw this, and spent basically the next decade plus trying to refine this rod wax into what we now know today as Vaseline. So he did that, and Vaseline was born. This was such a revolutionary and wonderful skincare product that during both world wars, soldiers would write home and ask for care packages with Vaseline so that they could care for their wounds while they were in battle. I mean, it was definitely something that everybody recognized helped to heal wounds effectively. The question is, was it safe? Was it safe to be putting something that was a byproduct of petroleum on your skin, on your wounds? I mean, we've learned a lot, right, since then. Let's talk about the safety now, because that is the elephant in the room. And yes, it is totally safe to put on your skin. In fact, it's safer to put on your skin than even some of the strictest regulations would demand. So in the EU, they have allowances for contaminants in skincare of like 0.005%, something like that. Petroleum jelly, white petroleum jelly, is actually 0.00001%. There might even be an extra zero in there. I can't remember, but I think it's 401. It is so much lower than the strictest standards in the world, which is the European Union, that they will allow a contaminant. So it is even less than that by a long ways. So yes, there is no actual like gasoline or petrol actually in the skincare product Vaseline. In fact, Vaseline, the brand Vaseline, which by the way, this is not sponsored by Vaseline at all. I never do sponsorships. But anyway, Vaseline is actually triple purified. So they use like a UV process, then they use another process, and then they use a third process to ensure that there isn't any remnants of contaminants in white petrolatum in Vaseline. So it is completely innocuous, essentially. The reality is it's an incredible occlusive, right? So it sits on the top of your skin and helps to prevent water loss, but also if you have a wound, it helps to prevent bad things from getting in. So it prevents bad things from getting in, and it prevents the good stuff from getting out. So that's its number one accolade, is that it is a great occlusive. But beyond that, studies actually show that Vaseline also helps to encourage the skin to produce some really important proteins in our skin. And it also enhances natural like antimicrobial peptides in the skin. So it enhances our ability to protect ourselves, our skin to protect itself. It reinforces not only that occlusive barrier, but it helps the skin. It enhances the skin's own natural defenses and it boosts them up. It helps it to boost themselves up, if that makes any sense. Vaseline also helps to thicken the stratum corneum. So that's the outermost layer of our skin. And why that's important is, of course, that means then we have a better barrier, but we have more plush, more bouncy skin, more hydrated skin because we have a better natural barrier. And that also helps the skin to heal itself better. And the skin already does that really well. We have this incredible organ that is very, very good at healing itself. Vaseline just gives it just an enhanced enhancement of that so that it can do an even better job. If you have an impaired barrier, what you're going to notice is red skin, flaky skin, irritated skin, dull, lackluster skin. You're not going to notice hydration in your skin. You're not going to see the bounce of light like you should if your barrier is compromised. It might be itchy and irritated. It might even hurt. So an intact barrier is often overlooked, but it shouldn't be, because it is really kind of the foundation of healthy skin. Okay, so let's talk about some ways that we can use Vaseline. Some of these you may not have thought of. And if you have additions to this list, leave them down below, because I think lots of people have ways that they use certain skincare products and that the rest of us don't know about. And let's not gatekeep here. Let's all share the information that we have. So number one, of course, is that occlusive barrier. So try this. Do your entire skincare routine at night. And after you've applied your moisturizer, your final step, put a very, very thin layer of Vaseline over top and see how you wake up in the morning, because it really does enhance everything because it locks it all in. You can use it just under your eyes in a really, really thin layer to help to trap the water there. That part of our skin is so fine. It's so thin, it's so prone to being crepey that just a little bit of extra added hydration in the area trapped will make a huge difference to the crepiness of the under eyes. I mean, better than any under eye cream you could come up with. If you want your under eyes to look less crepey, try doing a little thin layer of Vaseline under them at night before you go to bed as your last step and see what happens. Okay, now if you use retinoids, here's another little trick that you can use your Vaseline, how you can use your Vaseline. If you find that you get irritated from your retinoids, like maybe you get irritated right here, or you get irritated, those places tend to be very susceptible to irritation, to getting dry, cracked, red, hurt, and they're just those spots. Use a little bit of Vaseline before you put your retinoid on, and it will provide a little bit of a barrier from that active getting into those crevices and causing you trouble. Speaking of it as a good barrier, it is perfect for using before you color your hair. So if you're somebody who colors your hair at home, especially if you are a brunette, if you color your hair with medium brown, dark brown, black, certainly, you want to put a very thin layer of Vaseline all along your hairline. And as a hairstylist of over 20 years, barrier products before color, especially dark colors, is paramount to the success of the hair job, because you do not want to leave with a temporary tattoo. You do not want to finish coloring your hair and have a nice temporary tattoo that tells everyone that you just colored your hair. Especially if you decide to do a chemical peel and you are in the middle of a peel process and you think, oh, I'll color my hair now. This is a great time. I'm down anyway. Nobody's going to see me. I'm going to spend some time today and color my hair. Trust me when I tell you, if you have skin that is compromised, if it's in the middle of a peel or it's healing from microneedling or something like that, so it's drier, you want to use a barrier product around the perimeter of your hairline before you put on any kind of a darker dye on your hair. You will end up with a nice temporary tattoo all around your hairline that will take several days to come off. You don't want that. Okay, hand treatment. We've talked about this recently, but Vaseline or white petroleum is such a fantastic way to get a hand treatment in. Now, I've recently showed that you can put on, like a serum or use up stuff that you're not using on your face. If it's something you've discovered you don't really love on your face and maybe it's too moisturizing, maybe it makes you look greasy, perfect for your hands and your body. Put something like that on first, something that preferably water-based that will just soak into the tissue of your hand. You can follow that up with a moisturizer. I like to use my Photozyme, the body product. Put that on next, then top that with Vaseline, a very thin layer, and you have the most amazing hand mask. Now you can take that one step further and put on a gel-lined glove if you want to get an even more of a hand treatment. You can use the Vaseline just on your cuticles and do the other step and put on that glove for an amazing hand treatment. You can use the Vaseline just on your cuticles every day, all day long if you want. I got a Vaseline stick and I like to just It sits here. It sits right here. And I will just pull it out and use it during the day because my cuticles get so dry. Another way that you can use Vaseline, and it is especially great this time of year, is as a barrier for your self-tanner. So if you're somebody who likes to do self-tanner, you know that it is the bane of our self-tanning existence to end up with orange palms, orange feet, orange cuticles on our toes. And Vaseline provides the most amazing barrier in those areas to help prevent that. Now, if you use a mitt with like a self-tanning mousse, and sometimes the mousse seeps through the mitt and gets your palms anyway, if you just put a little layer of Vaseline on your palms, you don't need a ton, and on your cuticles, you'll prevent that. Put it on the heels of your feet, around the edges, on your toes, and you won't end up with the telltale sign that you self-tanned, because those areas won't collect extra of the tanner and get orange. If you are somebody who does the Just for Men brows, like I've talked about recently, a great way to ensure that you don't end up looking like Groucho Marx is to use a little bit of Vaseline all around your brow. Use a little Q-tip and really spend a little time outlining your brow. And when you use your tint on your eyebrows, it will protect that skin from getting dyed, so you don't end up with huge eyebrows that you have to then wait for the tint to get off your skin. You end up with the most perfect brows right out of the gate, and all it took was a little bit of a barrier with Vaseline first. Another thing that you can do after you've used your Just for Men and you have put it on as a barrier so you have the most perfectly enhanced brows with a little bit of depth of color, you can then take a little bit of Vaseline on a spoolie and groom those perfectly colored brows, and you will have brows that look like you went and got them professionally done. It is the easiest. I mean, a tiny little thing of Vaseline along with a box of Just for Men is probably $20 at the most, and that will last you easily a year, if not longer, and you don't ever have to go to a professional to get a tint job, and you can easily make them look beautifully groomed with just a tiny bit of Vaseline on a spoolie. If you want to use Vaseline as a highlighter on your cheeks, I did that today. It's perfect. It is the most inexpensive, beautiful highlighter. It does not take a lot, and it will give you the most reflective, hydrated, bouncy looking cheeks ever. And Vaseline actually now has some that have a little bit of a sparkle. If you're into that, you can actually use just the tiniest bit of that. It makes the most inexpensive highlighter. I mean, brands like Westman Ateliers charge $75 for their little highlighter stick. I'm telling you, you can get practically, I'm not saying they're identical, but you can get practically the same kind of look with a little tiny bit of Vaseline, honestly. And you can always mix a tiny bit of a powder highlighter into your Vaseline, and you will have a highlighter with Vaseline. You can do that too. Post-procedure. Now, this is something that you should definitely talk to your practitioner about. If you're going to get a laser, you're going to get a microneedling, anything like that, ask them when you should be applying an occlusive, and they will tell you. But I can tell you that it is the best way to get a nice wound healing in and to trap that water, because half the time what happens after a procedure is we've lost so much water that we get really itchy, we get hot, we get tight and dry. Now, you want to be careful because you do not want to trap heat in your skin. So if you've got a chemical peel going, if you have a sunburn, if you just got a laser treatment and you're really hot, that's not the time to put Vaseline on your skin, because you don't want to trap heat, because it's really good at trapping heat. So again, talk to your provider. But once that heat is out of your skin, Vaseline is just an absolutely wonderful way to help your skin heal without losing too much water, so you don't get all of the itchy, the tight, the dry. You may still get a little bit of that, but it helps to alleviate some of that and speed up the healing process. So whether you're healing a wound, whether you're trying to lock in skincare or help your barrier heal, or maybe you want to groom your brows, whether you're doing any of that, Vaseline is definitely one of those things I think we should all have in our skincare arsenal. And it is absolutely safe, it is absolutely effective, and it is unjustly maligned in the skincare world because it is totally safe. It's safer than the majority of things that people choose to use, ingest, or do. Vaseline is definitely one of the safest things on the market, for sure. If you have any other kind of ingredients in skincare that you're wondering about or myths that you are curious about, leave them in the comment section, along with any ways that you use Vaseline that I didn't list. I'd love to hear from you. I'd also love to hear any of these other pervasive myths that you might, or things that you've heard that you're wondering if they are a myth or not, or products or ingredients if they are safe or not. And we will dig in, and I will do a little research and try to back it up with facts. I hope you're having the most wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you in my next skincare video. Take care.